Question: are TV show writers out of touch with evolving audiences? A deep dive into the writing rooms of the likes of Bridgerton, Game of Thrones, and more. Hey everyone, welcome back to The Wolf Diaries, where we dive deep into the shows you love and sometimes the ones you love to critique. Today, we're asking a big question. Are the writers and creators of our favorite shows stuck in the past while their audiences are sprinting into the future? Because let's be honest, between Bridgerton's muddled third season, the infamous downfall of Game of Thrones, and some questionable choices in House of the Dragon, fans everywhere seem to have the same complaint. The writing just isn't cutting it anymore. So, what's going on here? Let's dive in. Welcome to The Wolf Diaries. One, the evolution of TV audiences. First, let's talk about us, the audience. If you're anything like me, you probably don't just watch a show. You're in the YouTube reaction and review videos, Reddit threads, the Twitter spaces, the Instagram quick recaps, and the TikTok comment sections breaking down every scene, every line, and every look. Thanks to social media, we're no longer passive consumers, we're active participants. Fandoms have turned into full-blown communities where ideas flow faster than a dragon's wings can flap. Take Bridgerton, for example. Before Season 3 even dropped, fans were already pitching better storylines for Colin and Penelope than what we actually got. And when the season didn't focus enough on their romance, boom, instant backlash. Social media has created a world where fans are collectively analyzing every episode in real time. And let's face it, sometimes their ideas are better than what the writers deliver. 2. 5 reasons why audiences are outpacing writers. So, why does it feel like audiences have evolved, but the writers haven't caught up? Here are 5 reasons I think we're seeing this disconnect. 1. Fans are more invested than ever. Back in the day, you'd watch an episode, maybe chat about it at work or school, and move on. Now, fans are dissecting character arcs, predicting plot twists, and creating entire fanfiction universes. It's not just entertainment anymore, it's a hobby and even career for some. 2. Social media has raised the bar. Platforms like TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram have turned fans into storytellers. You'll see TikTok clips of fans rewriting an episode, and it's so good you wonder, why isn't this person in the writer's room? Writers seem to be stuck recycling old formulas, but fans are bringing fresh ideas to the table daily. 3. Audiences want depth over shock value. This one's huge. Shows like Game of Thrones fell into the trap of prioritizing shock moments over well-earned storytelling. Think about how the series ended. Characters' fates felt rushed or random, leaving fans scratching their heads. Compare that to the rich discussions happening in fan communities, where people actually debate what makes sense for the characters and story. 4. Fandoms build emotional stakes. When fans connect over a show, they create emotional stakes that sometimes the writers miss. For instance, with Bridgerton, the Penelope and Colin romance was the thing fans were rooting for, but Season 3 treated it like a subplot. The fandom was ready for fireworks, and, to be fair, we got a firework here and there. However, there were too many storylines that did not contribute to the Pollen storyline that by the end of the season, our leading couple felt like more of a sparkler, rather than a whole fireworks show. 5. Source material isn't sacred anymore. This one's for you, House of the Dragon. Even though the first season started strong, it seems like the writers are veering into shock for shock's sake territory, rather than fully embracing George R.R. Martin's source material. Fans who've read the books know the potential, and they're frustrated when it's not realized. Writers, if you're not going to use the source material, you'd better have a really good reason. And now, back to reasons why fans everywhere seem to have the same complaint. The writing just isn't cutting it anymore. So, what's going on here? 3. Why writers are stuck in the past. Okay, so if audiences have evolved so much, why do writers seem stuck? A lot of it comes down to what I call the greatest hit syndrome. Writers are clinging to what worked in the past. They think, hey, people loved shocking deaths in Season 3 of Game of Thrones. Let's keep doing that. But here's the problem. What worked a decade ago doesn't necessarily work now. Audiences have grown. We've seen the tropes. We've lived through the plot twists. We're looking for stories that challenge us, surprise us, and most importantly, make sense. Writers who rely on outdated formulas end up alienating the very fans they're trying to please. 4. How social media is changing the game. Now let's get back to social media, because this is the game changer. Back in the pre-Twitter days, you could write a mediocre episode, and most people wouldn't notice.
But now?
Social media acts like an instant feedback loop. If something doesn't land, you'll know about it within minutes of an episode airing. But here's the twist. This isn't a bad thing. Writers could be using this feedback to improve. Instead, it feels like they're ignoring it, or worse, dismissing it as fan entitlement. Sure, some fans can be intense. We've all seen the comment wars, but most of the time, they're just passionate. And passion is what keeps these shows alive. 5. Moving forward, what needs to change? So, how do writers catch up to their audiences? Here are 3 things I'd love to see moving forward. 1. Engage with fandoms. Instead of seeing fans as adversaries, embrace them. Look at their ideas, see what's resonating, and let that influence the writing process. This doesn't mean pandering, it means listening. 2. Evolve the writing teams. Bring in fresh voices. Fans often criticize writers for being out of touch, and part of that is because they're relying on the same old crew. Diversity in age, background, and perspective can bring new energy to these shows. 3. Focus on character-driven stories. At the end of the day, what keeps us watching might be the dragons or the fancy costumes, but it's also the characters. Invest in them. Give them arcs that feel earned, and trust your audience to appreciate the slow burn when it's done well. With all that being said, what's my messaging here? It's simple. Audiences of beloved TV shows like Bridgerton on Netflix and Game of Thrones, and House of the Dragon on HBO, just to name a few, seem to have raced far ahead of the writers, directors, and producers when it comes to storytelling expectations. Thanks to the rise of social media, fans aren't just viewers anymore. They're active participants in massive online communities, dissecting every plot twist, debating character motivations, and crafting theories that often outshine the finished product. This new level of engagement has raised the bar, but many writers seem to be stubbornly stuck in the past, recycling old formulas instead of adapting to this hyper-savvy audience. For instance, Bridgerton Season 3's lack of focus on the leading couple left fans feeling underwhelmed, while Game of Thrones famously prioritized shock value over satisfying character arcs, leading to a finale that felt rushed and undeserved. Even House of the Dragon, which started strong, seems to be following the same path, leaning on shocking moments instead of fully embracing its rich source material. Notice the pattern? Even though these writing rooms could not be any more different from each other, they all seem to be trying too hard to either lean on shock value or compacting too many storylines that do not feed into the main storyline. And all these ends up feeling so inauthentic and unearned. Fans aren't just noticing these missteps, they're loudly voicing their frustrations, with social media acting as an instant feedback loop. So, in summary, why does this disconnect keep happening? It boils down to first, fans being more invested than ever, treating their favorite shows like collaborative storytelling rather than passive entertainment. Second, social media has become a breeding ground for brilliant fan theories and rewrites, making lackluster writing stand out even more. Third, audiences are demanding depth and emotional payoff over cheap surprises, craving character-driven stories that feel earned. Fourth, fandoms have created emotional stakes that writers sometimes fail to meet, as seen with Bridgerton fans' disappointment over the mishandled romance of Colin and Penelope. Lastly, source material fidelity is becoming a battleground, especially for adaptations like House of the Dragon, where fans feel betrayed when rich lore is sidelined. In this new era, where fans are often creating better storylines than studios, the message to writers is clear: evolve with your audience or risk losing them. So, what do you think? Are audiences outpacing the writers? Are we asking for too much? Or do writers need to step up their game? Let me know in the comments, because just like our favorite shows, this conversation is better when everyone gets involved. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives into pop culture. Until next time, keep binge watching and maybe even rewriting.
See you soon.
Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and/or subscribe for more delightful content, and I'll see you on the next one.